wanted to make a video. Try and get back to making videos, and I figure I'll make one. Not a real kind of idea of what I want to talk about. I just kind of talking or whatever. I got my my mask thing here, but I like to hide it right here because it kind of hides my little turkey neck. So I gotta do better. I gotta be better. So on the way to work, which thank God I got a job to go to, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful to be able to work, especially in the time in America where, you know, a lot of people aren't working, or, you know, going through other things, and they don't have the ability to work, or the economy won't allow them to work, or whatever situation is. I just appreciate having the opportunity to go to work and provide for my family. So yeah, I'm on my way to work, and well, for one thing, I don't want to start off negative, but it's like something that I saw yesterday. I wanted to speak about it, but I don't want to come off as insensitive to people's ignorance, because I've been ignorant before, you know, as well, when it comes to things about, you know, black people. Not in a negative way, I don't think, because I was raised around black people. I grew up around black people. You know, I almost said I got a best friend that's black. Anyways, my wife and kids are black, so there you go. And before I speak on the I'm not gonna call him by his name or whatever, but before I speak on what I thought about or whatever, I have had the same thoughts, and I've changed. I've changed my ideas. I've changed my understanding of, you know, what it's like to be a black person in America. All right. I saw a post that said, "You ever thought of the idea that if you don't do anything illegal, police won't mess with you?" I didn't see any black people posting that, by the way. I don't think you're going to find a black person that's going to post something like that, because every black person that I've asked, you know, like, have they ever had a bad encounter with the police? They said yes. And 9 times out of 10, it was unwarranted. Meaning, they weren't breaking any rules. You know, maybe they were going 5 miles over the speed limit, but they got pulled over, and they didn't just get a warning or a ticket. Like, because I've gotten pulled over numerous times and just got a warning, or was told, hey, you need to slow it down, or you need to get this fixed or that fixed, or something like that. None of my black friends have gotten that same courtesy. You know, they get pulled over for no reason. They get pulled out of the car. They get their car searched. They get put in the back of a police car. Numerous things have occurred from different stories, or they'll just be walking down the street and they'll be told that they look suspicious. Well, that kind of sucks that you always look suspicious. I mean, what's the definition of suspicion? I guess it must be a black person. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've been told and what I know. I do know for a fact that people some people don't like all the attention that black people are getting, which is hilarious to me. Something else that I saw that I was like, but I've literally said this to myself years ago. I had a conversation with another person of color about it, and it was like, the post was like, you have black clubs and black colleges and black organizations and all this stuff. How is America racist? So I'll explain to you why they have those organizations and why everyone in America is not racist, but systematically and throughout history of America, there has been a superiority of the European/Caucasian race over any other race in America. Well, let me not get that deep, because that's a whole nother long video. And I don't have to feel bad for that, and I don't have to apologize for that. I have to understand the plight. I have to try to be empathetic to what it's like to be an African American or Native American, but we're talking about African American people now in America. Okay, I saw somebody posted something like that. I'm white and I'm not gonna apologize. Motherfucker, you ain't gotta apologize. And nobody's telling you to apologize for something you didn't do. They're just saying, have some compassion. Alright? My bad, I got a little hype. Why do they have black organizations or African American organizations? Because they couldn't have them before. Slavery ended in 1860. Alright? After that, they implemented indentured servitude for the slaves that they wouldn't allow to get jobs. They weren't allowed to go to school. They weren't allowed to they still didn't have rights. Black people still didn't have rights. Just because slavery ended didn't mean they had rights. Come on now. Hell, women didn't have rights until the 1900s. So, they weren't allowed to go to college. Okay? What do you do when you're not allowed to do something? You create your own stuff. So, they created their own college. Black colleges. Created their own clubs. Okay? They created their own organizations. They had to do those things. Keyword, had to, because they weren't allowed to be a part of the white organizations or status quo normal organizations. They weren't allowed to. In freaking 50 something, they had to bring the National Guard to the school in Little Rock because of the integration. They wouldn't allow black people to come in, even though it had been regulated that they had to integrate that school. Come on now, don't act like this shit. I mean, this stuff is the people that are posting about black people and like that, like most of these people are older white people that fully should understand the plight of what black people are going through. They were freaking alive when they were going through what they were going through. Like, this stuff ain't that old. If you're 60 years old, you know what I'm saying? You know what's going on. Like, you know everything ain't been peas and gravy and all kind of good stuff like that. Let's be honest. But I would never try to change the mind of an older white person, because they not going to change their mind. The only thing I could hope to do is to reach the children of those people. Even though those people have taught their children that, you know, negative things about black people, not intentionally, but by their behavior, because behavior is, you know, the best teacher. So they've indirectly or directly taught their children negative stereotypes and connotations about black people. And listen, I'm sorry that happened. But you're not those people are gonna die. All right, like, it's up to you to change your mind and understand that we're all people and we live together, and we need to live together, and we need to be together. I feel like when you were created, in whatever way you were created, whichever way you believe that people were created, listen, they weren't created, okay, now we have a white people, and then we have a black people, then we have an Asian people, and then we have whatever, Mexican, all different, you know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't created like that. We evolved from one individual species or person. You understand that in the Bible, if you believe the Bible, God doesn't say, I created a white Adam and a brown Adam and, you know, that, no, just one. Okay, if you're a Christian and you believe that, it's just one. So your brother and sister all are different shades and colors. We evolved based on the climate that we ancestrally came up in. Our bodies over time changed the pigmentation of our skin in order to deal with the heat or the cold or whatever the situation is, okay? So let's drop the separation right there. And another thing, like, I even said this, I'm like, man, why does it seem like black people are always trying to separate themselves? Listen, you can't fix a problem unless the root of the problem is discovered and changed out and fixed, okay? Like, if your refrigerator's broken, you can't be like, well, the refrigerator's broken, and that's it. You gotta diagnose it. You gotta break it down. We can't get a new America or anything like that, so we gotta fix it. We can't leave it broken. So, yeah, you have to get the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is, in this case, over the history of America, which I love America. I love where I'm from. And they don't have the same problems in other countries. Other countries aren't as diverse as we are, and we made it this way. Okay? There's a bunch of Indians in India. You understand? There's a bunch of Chinese people in China. Okay? But historically, the system was made in order to keep black people down. Now, I'm saying that people are changing, and it's gonna take time. And that's the worst thing you could probably tell, you know, a person dealing with a plight or an issue, that, hey, it's gonna take time to fix it. But it's gonna take time. And I think progress has been made, okay? But let's not turn a blind eye and say we don't know what's going on and the justice system wasn't like remanufactured after slavery was abolished in order to have free labor, and the majority of the people that was locked up were African American people. Let's not act like we ain't seen the 13th documentary on Netflix, okay? Let's not act like the judicial system wasn't built by all old white men that wanted to keep black people in prison. Let's not act like the prison system wasn't a corporation. But like, come on, like let's not do that. Police officers, which I believe there are very good police officers that want to do their job to the best of their abilities. Okay, they want to protect. There's some police officers that want to protect their neighborhood. Okay, and it's not fair if a African American a person becomes a police officer that's African American, he's called a sellout. I don't believe he's a sellout at all. I believe he's trying to get in there and make a difference and protect you, and to be someone that, hey, I look like you and I understand what you're going through and I can help you out. I believe that. You know what I mean? And I believe it's some white officers that don't have a speck of hatred in their heart. Do they lack understanding? Of course. We all do. If you ain't black, you don't know. Alright? It's as simple as that. If you ain't black, you don't know. You don't know what it's like. I grew up 100% around black people. I dated black women majority of my life. I do not know what it's like to be black still. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be in the same economic class as the people that are discriminated against the most because they don't have money or the resources to change anything. I know what that's like. I can agree, or I can understand that, but no, I don't know what it's like to be black. And I'm not apologizing for that. And I don't this is the problem. We want to be either or like, dude, just no. You don't have to do that. Just understand. Just try to understand. Just try to be empathetic. Okay? Just try. It's not, it won't hurt you. I promise it won't. If you see a handicapped person, you don't know what it's like to be handicapped, but you understand it's probably pretty tough. Not comparing black people to handicapped people, but you could say it is somewhat of a handicap. You can't change it. You can't fix it. Like, it is what it is. And unfortunately, it gives you limitations because the color of your skin. So that was something that I saw. The internet, man, is like, come on, man. Like, would you really say this to a group of black people? Like, are you really standing on yours like that? Like, I try to allow people, well, it's not up to me to allow, but allow myself to be like, you know what, whatever somebody thinks, that's what they think. You know, you have to just let them believe what they want to believe. And in many cases, you gotta let people believe what they want to believe, man. But in a case like this, it doesn't benefit anybody for you to be opposed to the equal rights of another human being. Like, that's not a belief issue. That's just the issue of you willfully being ignorant to what is good in your heart. Like, you know in your heart that certain things shouldn't happen, but you're like, no, I don't want to give in. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You're gonna die. I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. Why not love people and treat people fairly while you're alive? Even if you don't always be treated fairly. Nobody's sitting there saying white people's lives are perfect, because I promise you I'm not. I'm behind on like 5 bills right now, and I go to work damn near every day. That's my problem and my plight. Just like everybody has their own problems and issues. But on an issue like, are black people being accosted and abused and continuously discriminated against by law enforcement and the justice system? Let's say yeah. Yeah, that's a real issue. Everybody got bills they probably didn't pay. Everybody's not making the money they want to make. Everybody's probably not enjoying, the life that they envisioned when they were 6 years old. But let's all just agree that the previous statement I made is true, and there's nothing. You don't look cool by being contrary to the cause. Like, come on, man. That doesn't make anybody look bad but you. All right, so let's move forward from that. Other thing I saw that I wanted to share was, like, obviously, like, I like watching MMA and UFC in particular, and I watched the little Ariel Helwani. I think it was like the MMA Hour, like in 2016, and he was doing his, well, he had just been banned from the UFC at UFC 199, and it was an emotional interview, or not interview, but emotional episode. And I think it was like episode 333 or something like that. Check it out if you hadn't seen it. But I had to go home and I had to show that, to the family, because I'm like, man, this dude really cares about what he does. And somebody, like, straight up just tried to take that away from him, on the basis of he didn't play by their rules. Oh my God. It sounds like America. Like, anyways, but he was like, you know what? I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight, and I'm still going to do what I love to do, and nobody's going to stop me from that. And that, he was like, I'm going to tell my son, or he told his son the same thing, basically, like, don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something that you want to do, or your dreams, or whatever. Yeah, he did it. So it meant something to me, man. So it was just a beautiful thing, and I love Ariel Helwani. I think he's very smart, and he tries to have integrity, and I think it's the only things we can really strive for. It's like to be intelligent and to have integrity, as hard as that may be, and try our best. Anyways, I'm almost to work now, so I'm gonna post this video. Love you. I hope too many people didn't get offended, but if you did, I'm sorry. And hopefully you can look at things in a different way. Sometimes people have to explain things, so that's what I had hoped to do. So, all right, have a great day, and improve always.